So I'm here with Kevin today. Kevin is a client of mine who's just finished his program, so he's here to have a chat with us. So Kevin, do you want to introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are?
Yeah, morning, Chris. Morning, everybody. Kev Johnson. Yeah, 45-year-old guy living in Oxfordshire, working in a hectic NHS role as many of us are. Yeah, just trying to get the balance of life.
Yeah, fair enough. And what was life like before we started together, working together then?
So there's a couple of things that came out of pretty much I cover my role in the NHS is regional. So I cover 19 acute hospitals. I don't live in the patch that I cover, so I live in Oxfordshire, but cover everything from Swindon down to the Isles of Scilly. So I spend a lot of time on the road, a lot of time in trains, and a lot of time in hotels when I'm visiting different acute trusts and stuff. So yeah, quite busy, quite manic, leading a clinical operational team across those 19 sites. That hasn't changed. I'm still
Yeah.
leading those people, but the way that I approach the balance of work and exercise and hydration and life is definitely changed over the last 9 months.
So what was it like then? Like what was your hydration, your exercise, your food? What was it like?
On the go is the easiest way to describe it. So there was no rhyme or reason for me to eat other than possibly eating the wrong things or definitely eating the wrong things because I need to grab something quick or I'm eating what I would call garage food or train food, which usually involves some coffee, definitely the biggest sandwich there. Sometimes a 4 pack of Snickers, or grabbing all of that plus pastry if I'm there first thing in the morning just to eat. And yeah, part of that is eating because I'm hungry. Part of it is eating because I was just in the habit of in a hotel getting a Deliveroo. Because I need to eat something. It's 8 o'clock at night. I've just finished my shift, which would usually involved, I don't know, a Nando's or a McDonald's or some room service or something like that. Yeah, so eating wasn't planned. It wasn't conscious. It was just I just need to get something in because I need to eat some dinner or I need to eat some breakfast.
Like say a lot of grab and go, a lot of convenience, just sort of like you say an afterthought almost.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I was driving to places rather on the train, it would be from a garage. So again, those kind of snack meals, what I'd call not very nutritious, very yellow,
Always
usually
bread.
yeah, always bread. And it wouldn't just be a cheese sandwich or something like that. It'd be the biggest triple sandwich that I could possibly find to keep me going. And plus a couple of packets of jelly sweets normally,
Mm.
to be honest with you, because if I'm in the car for 2, 3 hours, yeah, a couple of bags of Haribos or wine gums or whatever the jelly sweets of choice were. But yeah, I definitely be eating a couple of thousand calories in just traveling sometimes.
Yeah. So what sort of things had you tried yourself to obviously reverse this to get your weight down?
Yeah, so I reflect on this quite a bit because I'm a physio by trade. I worked for 12 years in cardiovascular rehabilitation and latterly in cancer rehab. So in short, I kind of know what I should and shouldn't be doing. I've preached it throughout my clinical career, and just really trying to reflect on some of that and understand what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong. But I had no accountability. I was just doing what I was doing. So just trying to reflect on a little bit more of what's going in and why it's going in was one of the biggest things that I did at the start. Sorry, does that answer your question?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. So how did how did you feel back then? Like if we look at it from like an emotional level, how did you feel?
So there was loads of things going on back then. I was constantly tired, although I was exercise wise, what I thought doing all right, to be honest with you, but constantly tired, wasn't sleeping very well. Um, Whether that be because work going through my brain or again eating at the wrong times and just high on sugar late at night, and confidence was pretty low, to be honest with you. So wouldn't necessarily socialize with some friends because I just felt crap or didn't want to try another shirt on that was too small for me because I'd gone up
Mm.
another size. I tried and lost some weight, possibly just before COVID. Lost about 8 kilos just before COVID and got into a bit of a rut, as many of us did post COVID. And one of the things that I also started to notice is those, what I would say, I mean, the treats were all the time. They're absolutely every day. But some of the things that the coping mechanisms would be, oh God, it's been a real long week. But I'd open a bottle of wine on a Wednesday. So in fact, the weekend drinking became 5 days on, 2 days off.
Must have been a
Um,
tough Monday and Tuesday.
yeah, exactly that. So, and because you're away, then you come home and you want to relax, and then before you know it, you're sharing a bottle on a Wednesday, but you're sharing a couple of bottles on a
Yeah.
Thursday, and then there's I don't know, like a pre-drink on a Friday, a cocktail or something. They're sharing a couple of bottles, then a post-drink or something. So yeah, just things were creeping in. So
Mm.
just try to get some balance back. But it wasn't working, Chris. It really wasn't working. And you might lose a few pounds here, or you might lose a few pounds there. And I had a friend's wedding last year, and probably lost about 4 kilos for that, but still felt pretty crap. And looking back at some of the pictures, yeah, wasn't looking or feeling my greatest back then in some of the wedding pictures.
Yeah, that makes sense. So looking, obviously that was then, and
Yeah.
since then, we took out a number. You've lost about 20 kilos, haven't you, over the course of, and there's been some holidays in there, Cyprus, Edinburgh, Alaska, any others?
Yeah, a couple of weekends
Yeah.
away with friends, went away for Easter and different things. So yeah, I think that's part of the success as well, is realizing, reflecting on, this isn't a weight loss journey for the wedding, or this isn't a weight loss journey for a holiday or something. Those 20 kilos, which in hindsight are probably about 30 kilos, because I've absolutely put weight on when I've went away for the weekend. I put weight on when I went to Cyprus, an all-inclusive beach holiday. And I put weight on when I went to Alaska a couple of months ago, about 6 weeks ago. And it wasn't about losing the weight for that holiday. It's about enjoying my time when I'm away there, and
Yeah.
having a build up to those holidays, and having build up post those holidays, and making sure that you enjoy what you enjoy, and then you absolutely come back and make yourself accountable again. I think that's one of
Yeah,
the
and that's
biggest
the
things.
thing. Like, if you look at your graph, it's always gone up at these holidays, but it's immediately come back down again, hasn't it? It's like you've had this mentality before of, I've got something nice coming up, a couple of weeks leading up, and then as soon as you're back, straight back into routine, straight back into it. How do you feel different? Like, do you feel different now then? How do you feel?
Yeah, absolutely amazingly different. Confidence wise, it's the small things for me. My body is a different shape. 20 kilos, or just over 20 kilos now, it's absolutely a different shape. So walking around the house with my top off and stuff like that. And I mean, these are the people that love me no matter what size I am, but I would always still put a
Yeah.
t-shirt on and stuff like that. Being away on holiday, putting some new clothes on that I went and brought. I have spent a fortune because I thought I'd lost the weight that I was going to lose, and then it kept on coming off. So the 10 kilos, the 12 kilos I wanted to lose became 20. So yeah, there's 4 different sizes on my belt buckle, and quite a few inches around my chest and waist. So yeah, absolutely fantastic with it. Again, socially, meeting more friends, and comfortable that going out and having, whether that be a date night or a dinner with some friends, that it's absolutely fine to go out and have those treats, or indulgent foods, whether that be burger or pizza or something. But it's about the level that you're having it at, and the frequency that you're having that at. So if you're going to go out and have dessert and stuff, just have the dessert, and enjoy it, and but don't have it every night, and then move on the next day. And I think that's the biggest thing for the holiday. In the graphs that you showed back to me, it's I've had a bit of weight loss before, and there's been a continual flow down, and there hasn't been this massive surge of 6 pounds or 3 kilos or anything like that. It's actually so gradual, and sometimes it was 400 grams and half a pound, and some days, some weeks it was a kilo. But at the end of all of those holidays, it's taken me 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm back to the starting point of the holiday, and then I've lost a little bit more again post those. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
What do you think the key sort of turning point for you was? Like, was there a particular, I don't know, particular methodology or particular thing that is different here that sort of, I don't know, there was just that light bulb moment?
Yeah, one of the big things for me is that I haven't been calorie counting. That doesn't mean to say that I haven't been watching my calories, because I absolutely have been watching what goes in and understanding food differently from a personal level. So again, as a scientist, I absolutely know what goes in and what goes out. I can do all the physiological science behind it, but actually, when you're looking at it yourself, you don't tend to do it. So for me, it's understanding the amount that I'm having. So those coffees add up. If you're having a couple of cappuccinos 3, 4, 5 times a day and you're traveling,
Yeah.
they are empty calories. You're having those wine, it's the empty calories. So the biggest thing for me is understanding the balance of greed. I'll be honest with you, habit, understanding habit that I've really taken from it, understanding my hydration levels. And it sounds really silly when you say it out loud or say it quickly. It's like, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? And you've used that phrase a lot. I am generally just thirsty. I'm not
Yeah.
hungry. So really understanding the hydration level of it. And then also understanding the benefit of all of these things. So my mood, my activity levels, my concentration levels at work, and reaping some of those benefits as well. So they're some of the biggest things that I've changed, and having the accountability back to you on a weekly basis. And some of that was done through obviously the food pictures that I've taken, and understanding what was needed
Yeah.
and what wasn't needed. So why am I having a big meal, then 2 packets of jelly sweets or something? So how do I cut some of those out? Why am I having a pastry every time that I go into a cafe? And by pastry, I mean two, because I'd have a savoury and a sweet. So
But you've got to have a start with the main, or main and
yeah,
a fruit, haven't
exactly
you?
that.
So no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, just really balancing and understanding what's going in.
I think with some of that as well, you've obviously said the word greed earlier. I think some of it's probably linked to emotions as well. I think
Mm.
just the way you were feeling, just stuck in that cycle. And I think sometimes you just need to break out that cycle and sort of feel what it's like to be on the other side. And I think that's what the sort of early parts were, we're sort of trying to get through that cycle, bust through it and start to feel actually, I don't need these things. These different ways I can boost my mood and feel good.
Yeah, and some of that would just be having snacks at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I've had a sugar low. And the reason I had a sugar low is because I had so much sugar at lunch,
Yeah.
and not having the right types of sugars, and the right type of carbs. So yeah, just moving it through. So you get that low, so you have another fix, and then you get another low. So trying to understand the emotion that sits behind that. Definitely the alcohol was, I've had a crap day, so I need
Yeah.
a little fix or something, rather than getting the balance of movement. It's something that's really came through. So let's take the dog out for another walk type of thing, and clear your head and start to work through what the problems were. And that's easier in the summer when it's drier and nicer than it is in the winter, of course. But yeah, so it's just trying to get that balance of emotional eating, and yeah, understanding that just because it's free, if I'm in an airport lounge, or traveling on a train where they're giving you breakfast and stuff like that, doesn't mean you have to have it. Yeah, you don't need it. You've got a banana. So yeah, grab some water and a black coffee. The simple changes that I've made,
Yeah.
rather than just having it for the sake of having it.
Yeah, and I think the main thing's balance, isn't it? It's about having those calories. And I know we didn't calorie count, but it's about having the calories, having that intake, that
Yeah,
indulgence when you want to have it, date night, going out, for drinks and meals and people's birthdays, going on holidays. That's where the indulgence is, and that's where it should be.
Mm.
Sitting on the train, just sort of traveling from A to B, just dreading the meetings you've got coming up. That's not really where you want the indulgence and to sort of sit down and enjoy, whatever they put in front of you. So for me, it is about that balance, and it's just about making sure you still have the fun stuff, but around it, you just balance it out. You just make it, yeah, just make it a lot more better, better in different places.
And that's what's been so important in all of the journey over the last 9 months, is that I haven't missed out on anything.
Hmm.
I haven't stopped doing anything that I enjoy. So by me cutting out some alcohol, I still have a drink on a weekend, a
Yeah.
Friday or Saturday night, both. Still have those date nights, still going on holiday, still having a pastry. I haven't missed out on anything. What I've done is, like you say, created a balance of having those things with my exercise, with my emotion, and just really understanding what it is that I need. And there was a point where maybe just before May that I did reflect on some calories, and I was like, I just want to see and I want to understand, because I got to a point in May where I'd lost about 10 kilos. You'll tell me different on the graph or something, and I was really happy with it. And in my mind, that I was there, I'd achieved it. I was absolutely where I thought I was going to get to. I really wanted to push it a little bit more to get down to 87 kilos, and psychologically, that's where I felt really good, because that's the weight I was when we got married, 8 years ago. So I was like, yeah, if I get back down to that, this is a place where I felt good, I look good, the pictures look good and stuff. And what was impressive, when I got down to that 87, I just kept it up. And actually, that wasn't my level that I should have been at. And before I knew it, I was down to 80 kilos. And yeah, so actually, there is a balance of everything that happened. So I did try and understand where my calories were coming in. And as I say, some of those empty calories, but also understand why I'm eating, how I'm eating, where I'm eating. Yeah.
I think
And
it is the simple stuff. The calorie counting works, of course it does, calories in, calories out, there's no disputing that. But, for 98% of your program, you weren't doing it. You did it for a short time to get a bit of understanding, but it's just about, for me, having simple frameworks. Like you say, you go into a lounge, you know what to do in there. You go in the hotels, you know what you eat in there or what the better options are to balance things out. When you're traveling, you knew where your sort of danger points were. So it's just having all of those little things for me, just that can take care of most of this. Well, it has done,
yeah,
hasn't
and that's where some of the accountability comes from, and taking the pictures, meeting you on a weekly basis. Because if I was in a hotel for 2 nights a week, one of the things it makes you do is makes you think differently. So I'm not going to have a delivery tonight. And there were times where I had a
it?
Nando's and I made healthier choices. But I soon got into the habit of actually either preparing some food for that night. So I'd have my main meal in the day, or just walking over to the supermarket and buying a pot of salad and putting some fresh chicken in there, some cooked chicken in there, and actually having that as my meal. So not needing a burger and chips or whatever it might have been, or club sandwich, always a favourite of mine. So yeah, and that accountability of then coming back to being weighed, to looking at the pictures,
Yeah.
and really understand some of the motivation from those pictures, because there's nothing better than looking at what it was like in January and then looking what it was, whether it be April or June pictures and stuff.
And you're talking about your pictures of you there, aren't you?
Of me, yeah,
Yeah.
pictures of me, and the progress that I was making, and then shifting the accountability for me meeting you on a weekly basis to actually being accountable myself. And I think that's what's been really great for me over, and you've helped me through the last kind of latter part of the coaching.
Yeah, and
Is
that's the sort of, for me, that is the important part as well, because you can't rely on someone forever. We don't want to be having calls forever going, oh, what have you eaten? How's your exercise been? You want to just be able to do this. Towards the end, we had that sort of phased withdrawal, and that seems to have worked. In fact, you've continued to lose a little bit, and you're just touching above 80, aren't you? 80.15, I think I've just seen this yesterday or this morning.
79.95. Was so close.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just, yeah, go out for a run around the block and weigh again. But what would you, if anyone is watching this, then I appreciate we've covered quite a lot here, but is there any particular advice you'd give to them if someone's considering reaching out to me, speaking to me, working with me? What would you say to them?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I've reflected on is I thought I knew what to do. I thought I had all the tools to do that, and I didn't. And whilst I may know what I know, the biggest thing that you've given me is how to organize that toolbox a little bit better, and how to then to be accountable to myself. And there isn't a quick fix. I mean, there's loads of different ways of losing weight out there at the moment, and there's been a huge boom and stuff. But actually, to bring sustainability and to bring that accountability through is something that I can't thank you enough for. To be honest with you, it's really made me look at food differently, look at exercise differently, look at my hydration, linking all of that to my emotion and my work-life balance. And something that came through really early on is the psychology of your coaching and how I approach things differently. Not only just from a food and a wellness point of view, but also with my team and the different emotions that come with managing a big team and a lot of pressures and stuff. So it absolutely, you have made me focus in so many different ways, whether it be through the way that I work with my team, the way that I approach my food and diet and exercise and hydration as well. So there's lots of different, and the emotion with my friends and going out more and being a bit more sociable.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Anything else you want to cover, or do you think we've pretty much covered it?
No, just a big thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's been absolutely amazing, and I couldn't recommend you more highly. I think your approach to it does bring, as I said, real sustainability,
Yeah.
and it's been an amazing journey. And yeah, I look forward to keeping in touch in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Do keep me updated. And I echo it, and I'm not just saying it for this as this interview as such, but genuinely you've been a pleasure to work with. You've just got on with stuff, always interesting on the calls, always something going on, always something in life, whether that be personal or work. But yeah, you've got on with stuff, no nonsense. When things have gone wrong, you've shown up, you've said things have gone wrong, what are we doing here? And we've put a plan together and we've got through it. So yeah, I think the best thing you can do is obviously keep it up, keep going, keep me updated, and yeah, we'll catch up soon.
Exactly that.
All right,
Cheers,
buddy.
Chris.
Thank you very much for your time. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.